Alright, hey guys, I'm back. I hope all of you are doing well. If not, from now on you will be doing well. Hmm, so today what? In fact, we will be completing dbms revision in this video, and we'll just hope that we'll we can cover other such topics as well. Right now, what I have to do is I have to UPG updated thing. I have to revise my other core subjects as well as practice TS as well. 11th September. It's September. Holy crap. Futures. Fine. कौन सी कंपनी है? नोएडा I believe. All the short 7 September. What the hell is this eclipse? When is the Samsung way? It's on 7th, right? I have to consult one of my friends. So the issue is, Samsung Research Noida came for research and development role, and it has asked us to download VS Express, JRE, JDK Eclipse, and all this stuff. I was like, who the hell does this for? Like, a hiring online assessment test. It's way too much, I believe. I just got hurt and I'm looking to OMG, we want access only. Shares legal. Right, so I have to shit. I just yeah, so let's get back to our clustered and non-clustered index. We have seeing what is it. Next we were on we were on this, I believe. We completed this, but let's divide it again. What is a transaction log in dbms? It is a record that keeps track of all the transactions executed on a database. It ensures that changes made by the transactions are saved, and in case of a system failure, the log can be used to recover the database back to its last consistent state. The transaction log contains the details of each transaction, start, commit, rollback, information about data modifications, insertion, updates, and deletes, details about data before and after the change. Now we'll see what is the difference between ER diagram and relational schema. ER diagram is a conceptual blueprint that models entities, relationships, attributes of the database, and attributes of the database. It visually represents the structure of the database. Used in database design phase to understand how data entities relate to each other. For example, relational schema is a logical schema that defines the structure of the relational database, including table, column, relationships, and constraints. Represents how data is physically organized in tables. Constraints such as primary keys, foreign keys, and data types. What is the purpose of group by clause? The group by clause in SQL is used to group rows that have same values in specified columns into summary rows, often with aggregate functions like count, sum, average, min, or max. It is typically used to organize data for reporting or analysis. Example, this group of employees by department counts the number of employees in each department. Select department, count, star, employees. Row by department. It's used to group rows having the same values in specified columns to summary rows, often with aggregate functions like count, sum, average. What is a stored function? A stored function is a set of SQL statements that can be executed in the database. It accepts input parameter, performs some logic, and returns a value. Did not store procedure. Even store procedure did the same, right? I believe. And over here, I'll just add another one. Stored procedure. Pre-compiled allows user to execute. In that they must return a value. I see. Then in this case, this is cut, paste. What are the different phases of dbms query processing cycle? This is a little SQL, right? Let it go. So whenever a user enters a query, there are several phases that transform the high-level query into executable action. The first one is parsing. The SQL query is parsed to check its syntax and semantics. The dbms ensures that the query is valid according to SQL syntax and dbms schema. DB schema. Next, translate. The query is translated into an internal form such as a relational algebra expression or an execution plan. Third one is optimization. The dbms optimizes the query to determine the most efficient execution plan, considering factors like indexes, joins, and available resources. The optimized query plan is executed by query processor, which accesses the data from the database. Parsing, translate, optimize, considering factors, indexes, joins, and available resources. And fourth one is execution. What are different types of backups in dbms? Full backup, it is the complete copy of the entire database including data and schema, but it is most time and store consuming. Incremental backup, this backup only stores the changes made since the last backup. It's faster and uses less storage, but restoring requires the time full backup for incremental backup and sequence. This backup captures all changes made since the last full backup. It's larger than incremental backups but simpler to restore since you did the last full backup. Latest differential backup. So incremental backup, it can be like you just want to see the difference between incremental and differential. It's not that clear. Chat GPT 8. Yes, return. Yes, server storage heavy, very fast and efficient storage. Since your chapter could possibly easier to restore than traditional cloud. Larger than size, larger in size than incremental because each differential backup keeps coming after that. Allows fast data recovery. This is the DB requires regular problems. What is the use of the with check option in SQL? It is used. The with check option is used when creating a view in SQL. The with check option is used when creating a view in SQL to ensure that any insert or update operation on the view must adhere to the condition defined in the view's pair clause. If the inserted or updated data violates these conditions, the operation will be rejected. For example, if a user tries to insert or update a student record with the status other than active, the operation will fail. Let's use creating an I thought we can only read the views in SQL. Wrong. So yeah, by default the views are mainly used for reading or querying, but in many cases we can also do the update insert delete operations view provided certain conditions are met. I have to give Citadel OA as well. Right. No, by default. But in many cases, you know, explain the concept of B tree and B plus tree in dbms. So B tree is a search balancing tree data structure that maintains sorted data and allows searches, insertion, deletion, and logarithmic time. B trees are used in databases and file systems to store large amounts of data. Or not when B tree can have multiple children, which increases the efficiency of searching. It stores data both on internal and leaf nodes. Now, B plus tree is an extension of B tree, and it's widely used in database for indexing. It differs in that the fact that it has a linked list at the leaf level and stores. Differs in the fact that it has a linked list at the leaf level and stores all records in the leaf node. The internal nodes of B plus tree store only keys and pointers of the next level of the tree, while the leaf nodes contain actual data to the pointers. So data with only the leaf nodes and uses the internal nodes. What is hashing technique in dbms? How does it work? The hashing technique in dbms is used to map such as the key to a fixed size value or address using a hash function. Map data. We are mapping data to a fixed size value using a hash function. It's primarily used for quick data retrieval, particularly in hash indexes, particularly in hash tables. For example, a hash function might map a student element to a of 3. The student record would be stored in the corresponding bucket. Take the key and calculate the hash value. This hash value determines the bucket after the record key. When searching for a record, the hash function is applied again to the key to find the corresponding bucket. What is the difference between triggered and stored procedure? This question coming here. A trigger is an automatic execution executed by dbms when a specific event occurs on a table that is not in the manually understand the specific event. It is executed explicitly by a user execution, and it's a good manually and import. Yeah. So explain the concept of data partitioning. How many questions we are having around? Yeah, it's almost at 57, right? I think. Yeah. Okay, next to 10 questions we are having. Explain the concept of data partitioning. It is a process of dividing large data sets into smaller, more manageable segments to improve performance, scalability, and availability. Each partition can be stored and processed separately. Each partition can be stored and processed separately. So we are having horizontal partitioning divides data by rows. Vertical partitioning divides data by column. Range partitioning is data is divided based on range values. For example, each groups are data range. Hash partitioning is based on a hash value derived from the key column. Got it. So it's like horizontal means only this first X rows of the data, vertical is like some particular rows of some particular columns of the table. Next is hash partitioning, which is based on a particular hash of an index. Next is range partitioning, based on the range. What is the role of dbms in handling data integrity and security? The dbms plays a critical role in ensuring through constraints like primary keys, foreign keys, and check constraints, the dbms ensures data consistency and accuracy. DBMS system provide user authentication, access control, and encryption mechanisms to protect data from unauthorized access and leakage. It also supports role-based access, RBAC, ensuring only authorized users can perform certain actions on the data. And I think this should come earlier as well. How is dbms different from a file-based system? So, it stores data in tables with structured schema, complex queries and relationships, flat files. Data minimizes data redundancy, might have data redundancy, have data integrity, doesn't have, provides advanced security features. Security is managed at file system level, which is less robust. You know what? I'll just see the definition of, I mean, the meaning of the word robust. Robust meaning is strong. Right. Handles concurrent access, supports complex query mechanism, automatic backup, easily scalable, and many more. What is meant by data warehousing? It's the process of correcting. It's the process of collecting, extracting, transforming, and loading data from multiple sources and storing them into one database. Known as data warehousing. A data warehouse can be considered as a central repository where data flows from transactional system and other relational DBs and is used for analytics. It comprises a wide variety of organizational historical data that supports the decision-making process in an organization. Explain different levels of abstraction in dbms. Fine. So dbms provide different levels of abstraction, provide unnecessary details from the user, make interaction easy with data easier. First one is physical level. This is the lowest level of abstraction. Describes how data is stored physically on the disk. Things like file structure, indexing and storage details. These details are managed by the dbms and are hidden from developers and users. Logical level, conceptual level. This is middle level where developers and database administrators work. It defines what data is stored in database and relationships among them without worrying about physical storage. The developers and database administrators work defines what data is stored in the database and relationships among them without worrying about physical storage. Highest level closest to end user, it presents only a part of database as needed, hiding schema details and storage. For example, a customer view might just show name and email from customer view, even though it has many more columns. So in short, how data is stored, what data, what is difference between intention and extension in database. We'll come to that, but before that I gotta go somewhere. So I just note it down. Terminates. Well, then you can differ about this. Alright, guys, I'm back. Design decisions and practical skills. ठीक है ठीक है ये हमारा पुराना सर Oh, crap, does double take Sonic in name? Thank you, man. So one of my juniors friend texted me for some kind of help. I told her to reach me out after 5:30 and now it's 6. So I'll probably reach and do. I'll probably reply her back after revising my dbms. So I gotta close my windows. So just in case nobody comes. Nobody here feels like insects at all. They usually often visit my room time to time. Giving this area. Different spot, I think. Hangout spot and such. It's not closing. It's done. God. I wonder if I keep my headphones and then study. So what is the difference between intention and extension in a database? Intention, which refers to the blueprint of the database, defines the schema, the tables attribute relationship. Intention is usually specified during database design and remains largely unchanged over time. For example, the instrumental and attribute knowledge. It refers to the actual data present in the database at a given point in time. If the data changes due to insert or delete operation, efficiently. Explain the type of anomalies. That occur when a database is not normalized. So we have three types of anomalies. First one is insertion anomaly. It says insertion anomaly. It It says that you cannot insert new data unless some other unrelated data is present. Example, in a table storing student, what is it? You cannot insert new data unless some other unrelated data is present. If a new course is introduced but no student is enrolled, you cannot insert without putting it of student. If data is stored redundantly, updating in one place but not in another leads to inconsistencies. In the prof's office, if a professor's office number is stored in multiple rows, each for each student in code and the professor changes office, you must update all rows. Deletion anomalies: when deletion of some data leads to loss of unintended information. The last student enrolled in a course drops it. In a course drops. If the last student enrolled in a course drops and you did the intro, you could lose all information on the course itself. These anomalies are the reasons normalization exists to reduce redundancy and maintain data integrity. About log, right? I think I have written it there as well. We are having logs one over here. We have logs anywhere else. Over here. This is fine. Transaction. That was too far. 24. 37. 37. 37, right? What is a log? Two types of logs. You know what? We'll just delete this. A log is in a database is basically a mechanism used to ensure data consistency and integrity when multiple transactions are running concurrently. It prevents two or more transactions from updating the same data at the same time, which could otherwise lead to anomalies. Now there are two main types of logs. This is used shared log. This is used when a transaction only wants to read a data item. Multiple transactions can hold a shared log on the same piece of data at the same time, since reading doesn't change the value. This is required when a transaction wants to write or update a data item. Only one transaction can hold an executable at the time while it's held, and while it's held, no other transaction can either read or write the data. This ensures we don't get inconsistent results. For example, if I'm updating an account balance, no one else can even read the record until my transaction is completed or logged to the database. Yeah. So remaining with last 3 questions, I guess. Yeah.